What's up, guys? Thank you for checking out episode 55. Obviously, as you see, the episode does not start quite like normal. We did have some technical issues on this episode twice. We had it yesterday, and then we tried to record again today, and it turned out basically the same way.
Right. Not fun.
Yeah, not fun at all. The audio's kind of fucked up. Don't really know how or why. What would you say? It sounds like
Probably that we're underwater doing this whole entire video.
Yeah. So
just gargled.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But again, we're not going to record the same episode for a third time in 2 days. So I do apologize about that. But this is why you guys' Patreon support is so important, so we could have some non-shitty equipment
right,
to where the shit doesn't happen. I will say, I think the audio was manageable enough or tolerable enough.
Yeah, it's definitely tolerable.
That, we're okay with releasing it. Obviously, we're still upset about it, but at least try to pay attention to the first 5 minutes or so, because there's a pretty cool announcement in there.
Yes.
Might be 5-10 minutes. And then after that, if you want to hear about my fucking hell week in the hospital last week, that's after that as well. But
and then some pet peeves?
Yeah, pet peeves. And I think that's really it.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about some listener feedback and stuff like that.
Yes.
And things like that. So, yeah, definitely check out as much as you can tolerate. I hope you like the episode, but
dope episode, shitty quality.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Thank you again for checking out episode 55. Have a good one.
What's up, everybody? This is the Palmer Squares.
And you're listening to the Average AF podcast.
This is Dan Cummins, and you're listening to the Average as Fuck podcast.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Catalyst Bars, and you're listening to the Average AF podcast. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Average AF podcast. This is episode 55. I am with Ryan Baker. Still kind of new to say, so bear with me for that little hezzy right there, that little hesitation. But yeah, it's been great with you for the last 2 episodes now? 3, 4, 7,
8, 4.
I don't even remember.
10, 3. I think it's 3.
I don't know. Yeah, it's been.
This is the 3rd.
Well, because 52 was me, you, and Steve, and then 53, 54, 55.
Hey, you can count to 3.
I can kind of count to 4 too.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, learning new things in 2020. Shout out to quarantine. But yeah, so thank you guys for checking out episode 55. As always, we want to start with just a couple updates. The first one is a big one. We're actually recording this on the 1-year anniversary of the first episode dropping. Yeah, so
crazy.
It has officially been a year from August 10th. It's crazy, man. Kind of how far we've come. Our goal, me and Steve's goal originally was to get to 5,000 streams.
Yeah.
By our year mark, and we've kind of blown that out of the water. So we actually have around 5,100 audio streams, and we have, I think, 1,300 YouTube streams.
Dang.
So, I mean, we're
getting there.
We're close to, 6,400, 6,500 in a year. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you guys for checking it out, liking, subscribing, sharing, reviewing, all that kind of stuff.
Appreciate the love.
Yes, definitely helps out. And then I think we said this last week, just all we ask is to tell one friend a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just tell one person. Everybody knows somebody who likes podcasts. They might not like ours, which is fine, but at least
they don't listen to them, we can get it into them.
Yeah, at least give them the heads up that we're out there, and they can kind of choose from there.
Right.
But the next update is actually pretty cool. Kind of a surprise. We didn't mention it to anybody. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, we have a couple Patreon members that I'll kind of sneak stuff to. I'll be like, hey, you know, we're going to announce this tomorrow, like, check it out, you know what I mean, or whatever. Just because they've been, you know, long fans and things like that, and a lot of feedback and interact with us, so I kind of throw them a bone even before Patreon knows about it. But this week, I didn't tell anybody anything. So, yeah, I know. I just get so excited, man. I got to tell somebody. But with that said, that sounded weird. With that said, this week in the link to the description of this episode, only on the Patreon though, we have a link to a brand new t-shirt with the brand new logo.
And it looks dope.
It is fucking fire. And it is only for Patreon members right now.
Yep.
So you can't get it on the store that we have, unless you're a Patreon member. There's a kind of a hidden link for it. So if you're on the Patreon, definitely check that out. Even if you don't, you know, buy or anything like that, let us know what you think and things like that. But
love the feedback.
yes, it's pretty dope, man. I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys will be too. But yeah, and then everybody else, you know, as always, shop the merch.
Get that merch.
Yep. And then we actually had some good feedback last week from the episode, mainly about Baker's dreams. So I'll let you go through that.
Yeah, we had 2 of them. So first and foremost, shout out to you, Tim. This one was very, very entertaining.
Lengthy.
Actually,
Yeah.
So he's indicating that, first off, love that you're an amateur dream interpreter.
Yes. And I think he said it's his first time.
And by amateur, I mean this is my first time I've interpreted.
Yes. So very reliable source.
Yes.
Appreciate you, Tim.
He says that the people that were shot in my dream symbolize my old garage doors. The witch symbolizes the realization that I needed new garage doors.
Yep. Okay.
People that were holding the house at gunpoint symbolize the work being done.
Makes sense.
Me surviving means that I was the only one in particular group of the dream that will appreciate the new garage doors, which, by the way, I do love them.
Right. I'm sure Danielle doesn't care.
She
And
doesn't
Caden definitely doesn't care.
I think he's glad, though, because he got hit in the head from the old one.
Okay, well, he might care a little bit.
Brings back bad memories for him. And then,
Jazzy doesn't care. I got to throw her out
yeah,
there, too.
she doesn't care.
She don't care.
If it's not Roblox or YouTube,
I didn't want to just not include her, so.
And then the ending is the best. Also, I've had a little bit too much to drink, and I'm sorry to everyone who actually reads this nonsense. I just thought it was ridiculous to tie your dream to thought it'd be ridiculous to tie your dream to the garage doors.
Love it.
Also, you should try to remember your dreams more often so this can become a regular segment.
Oh man, that could be
I try
interesting.
too. I try, but I haven't remembered any dreams since
Well,
then.
yeah, try to write them down. Keep a dream journal just for the podcast. But yeah, shout out to Tim for that. He says a lot more in the post too. But this is on the website averageafpodcast.com.
Check it out.
So you can read the whole thing. And I did want to give him a shout out too, because he's actually one of our Patreon producers.
Okay.
So he's actually from Teach a Dummy podcast.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely check them out as well. And while we're on the topic, I might as well shout out the other 4 now Patreon producers. Shout out to Steve. He just signed up today. So shout out to him. He definitely didn't have to. He's already obviously put in enough work into this. But shout out to him. We got Tom Pullum as a longtime listener as well. Taylor Sabo, who, if he listens to this, he's going to be so pissed. Well, not at us or anything, but I don't know if you heard Big Ten football got canceled this year. Yeah, and that's like his life. So he's crying somewhere. I don't know if he has
COVID.
I don't know if he has a phone still because it's probably shattered or in a lake somewhere or something like that. But shout out to Taylor, and then big shout out to Nate Collins as well. He's if you see the graphic at the end of the episode, he elected for his, instead of his name being shown, it says Equal Justice Initiative.
Okay.
So just to kind of spread some awareness. So shout out to all of our Patreon producers. It definitely helps us out quite a bit.
Right.
And then, yeah, if you guys want your name shouted out, if you want to be put on the end graphic of the episode, If you want, your Instagram handle shouted out, your podcast, your Twitch, like whatever you want, we'll definitely do that in that $10 tier. So, but yeah, shout out to all of them. And I know we had some other feedback as well.
Yeah, we got one more here. Chiquito Blanco.
Yeah. That's my dude. I'm gonna keep him anonymous for now, but
Okay.
he's the dude.
Said my dream was a foresight, and somebody will be approaching me with a plan to steal some bank's blueprint soon.
Yep.
So watch out for the rest.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to keep him anonymous, because he's probably gonna hit you up with some plans.
Right.
He's a very smart guy, and if anybody can do it, he can. So.
And also, since we're on the website here,
Okay.
Justin Smith, I'm working on it. All right, I'm working on a way that I should do my outro.
Right.
But I'm new to this, and Steve had a freaking good one.
Yeah, and you can't copy it.
I can't copy it.
Yeah, it would just be disrespectful. But
So I'm working on it.
yeah, he said, Baker needs a special outro, kind of like Steve always said, "We out" and stuff. But yeah, it's not as easy
No,
to come
it's
up.
not.
We actually talked about it for a minute a couple weeks ago.
And I've been thinking about
Yeah,
it.
it's like what can you commit to say on every episode?
Right. I think I
And-
just gotta start switching it up.
But then that's not like a signature outro.
No, switching it up until I find something.
Well, yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's gotta come natural. We'll see what works best, but
I have a lot of videos on my phone of myself doing the outro.
okay. Hey, send them on. Send them on. We'll see how they go.
A little poll.
Right. But yes, thank you guys for all the feedback this week on the community boards. Again, averageafpodcast.com. It definitely makes the show a lot more fun to get some feedback, some fun ones, and some insights, some recommendations, all that kind of stuff too. And then I know Jackie helped us out too with last week, so we're gonna get into the whole fucking situation. But last week on the Patreon, I did post the video episode on Tuesday, which we always do. But I didn't even post a description or anything like that. Man, I was in so much pain. I just uploaded it, and that's what was like, okay, you guys got the episode. Like, I'll do the rest later.
Right.
And I'm thinking I can do the rest the next day. I was just in so much pain, man. Like, I just couldn't. And this was Monday night, going into Tuesday. I'm like, I'll just do it tomorrow, man. Like, I can't do it now. I need to try to fall asleep. Like, I'm in so much pain and shit. And she actually kind of recapped the episode for us a little bit. So
Definitely did.
what all did she say? Well, not what all, because it's massive. But
But she agreed with you about the salaries of women versus men, and that they should be equal.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that.
She's smart.
Let's see here. Also about the foot being asleep, she thinks it's an uncomfortable sensation. But pretty much after that, she says, "Suck it up and shake it off."
Yeah, she sent actually real quick. She sent me a Snapchat after she listened to that and the last week's episode, and was like, hey, guess what happened? She said, I stood up and my foot was asleep, and guess what didn't happen? I didn't fall. And like, it was just elaborate. She did it a couple times, but it was hilarious.
She has fallen before, though.
Yeah.
She did mention that. In the middle of the night, swung her legs out of bed, instant pins and needles as her foot touched the ground and fell straight to the floor.
All right. Well, she learned. she learned.
That one. She also feels me in the hoodie.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all do.
Talking about Bergman's law or theory. I'm not sure which one that is either. But how, like, larger animals go to cooler climates and smaller ones go to the hotter ones. I like the hot ones. And then buying versus renting. Due to you're talking about my house, she thinks I live in a mansion.
You kind of do, man.
A little bit.
Like it's not a mansion, but it's a very nice family house.
Yeah,
we'll say that.
And fun fact, she actually says that that with enough space for a room dedicated to sneakers. Tell me why the people that owned the house before, it's Jazzy's room now, literally was all sneakers.
Really?
Like, it was a room dedicated to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's really cool. That she
Actually, yeah,
did
that's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's my dream, man, is to have a room full of sneakers.
Dude, he had like 3 or 4 shelves, like,
Yeah.
with like 5 or 6 high, and then on the ground, there was just shoes all over the place.
Jeez.
I was like, dang.
I can't commit that much. Like, I just gotta but they're cheap and they'll never go on like a shoe rack or anything like that. But yeah, all my fucking Jordans are like way too expensive, and I can't afford fucking 50 pair.
Right.
You know,
That shit gets expensive.
I have probably 7 or 8 pair ish. I don't even know. But that's over like a 3-year period too. It's not like I just buy them with every paycheck or anything like that. Sometimes I want to, but I'm also super picky. Yeah. But cool. Yeah. So again, thank you guys all for your feedback every week, and thank you, Jackie, for your novel on the Patreon as well.
Yes, thank you for that recap. We appreciate it.
Yes. But before we get into my shitty ass week, how was your last week?
Not bad, man.
Comparably not bad.
Definitely not. I mean, it was golden compared to yours. No, man, just working. It's tough to do really anything with my shift. I mean, I like second shift because it works out better, like with the family stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, I really don't do shit before work or after work.
Right.
And then this weekend, just chilled with the kids on Saturday, and Sunday I mowed like 3 or 4 yards, 4 yards, in this hot ass 80-degree weather.
Right.
So that wasn't fun.
Yeah, I know you didn't like the steps yesterday.
Nah, man, it hurt so bad. My calves. They were all pushed except for one too. So
Yeah.
but it's good money.
I was gonna say that. I mowed yards for a couple summers and made pretty decent money, man. So can't complain.
Yeah.
Usually 4 hours of work a day.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. So
Not bad.
hell yeah. Well, I guess we'll dive into my shit fuck week. There's no other fucking words for it, but so it's a long story, bear with me. I'm not trying to do like a monologue, but it might kind of turn into that. Basically, as I said, I was in a lot of pain Monday night. It actually started on Friday night. I had a lot of pain, basically right here under my rib cage on my right side, and I honestly thought it was just like the Burger King I ate. To be honest, because that day, and I get Burger King frequently. It's not a good thing, but I do. And that day, the food was just like extra greasy, and I'm like, man, this is like. And I don't mind, like, I'm a fat fuck, so, like, a little bit of grease doesn't bother me, and it didn't bother me, but I was like, this is, like, a little too much, right? Like, all right, whatever. And then my stomach started hurting, just kind of attributed it to that. That night, basically, after work every week, I go, or every day, I go see Harper, and that night, I told her mom, I said, hey, I can't even really get out of this bed right now. Like, I'm in so much pain. Felt bad and stuff like that. Saturday, I wake up. I'm fine. Maybe a little bit of pain, but nothing to even really talk about. And then Sunday, it started again.
Yep.
So, which actually, yeah, we recorded that day.
I thought you were just being a little bitch.
I did too, man. I did too. And, that's why this kind of went on for so long. I was like, dude, I'm just a pussy. Like, I don't know what happened to me when I became a dad. Like, I became soft. Like, I can't take pain now. Like,
Dude,
what the fuck's going on?
it adds years to you being a father.
It definitely does. Getting gray hairs and shit. Some bullshit.
We gotta talk about that one.
But yeah, so Sunday, I was in a lot of pain, man, sitting here kind of recording. I don't know if I mentioned it on the episode or not last week.
I don't think so.
But I know right when we were done, I was like, dude, my back fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Like, super bad. And we still had a bonus episode to record. And then we hung out a little bit after the episode as well. But, yeah, man, the whole time, my back was killing me. And it turns out that's a symptom of what I'm about to get into. Monday comes around. I'm still in a lot of fucking pain. Kind of deal with it, though. Monday night, I go see Harper in a lot of pain. Basically can't, like, hold her or anything because she's wild. She likes to throw punches and stuff like that.
Yes, she is.
And went to see Steve after that. And, man, I was there, like, 15 minutes. I was like, dude, I gotta leave. Like, I can't even chill right now because I'm in so much pain.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was a bummer. Tuesday, I wake up, and probably around 11 a.m., noon, something like that. I'm working, from home and stuff, But I messaged my manager. I'm like, man, I've been in a lot of pain for the last like 4 days. I don't know what's going on. But if it doesn't like ease up, I might have to go to the hospital. And to be honest with you, like I said, man, I thought it was the Burger King. I thought it was, I just ate something.
Yeah.
I thought I was constipated. I hadn't shit in like 4 days,
Worst.
which, yeah, is not good.
No. It will definitely make you feel some pain.
Right. So, I got some Pepto, which I think helps with bloating and stuff like that. Because that's what it felt like, man. It felt like, like a cramp mixed with, like, I just ate a fucking Thanksgiving dinner.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just fucking hurt so bad. Got some Pepto. Eventually, actually called my mom and got some laxatives from my mom. And I'm like, if this doesn't fucking work, then
Something's wrong.
yeah. So it didn't fucking work. Around 3 o'clock, I still haven't shit, right? Even after laxatives and stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's TMI. I just been talking about my shit for the last 5 minutes, but
Dude, if you have laxatives and Petmo and all that, dude,
Right.
like, and you're still not?
yeah, it was a problem. So Tuesday around probably 2:30, 3 o'clock, I texted my manager. I said, hey, I can't even end the shift. I got to go to the hospital because, like, for both days, Monday and Tuesday, I would work for like 15 minutes, and then I would go lay down for like 20. And then I'd come back and work for 15 and then go lay down because I'm like, I can't even fucking sit here.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I was doing that all fucking day. And eventually I was just like, I gotta go to the hospital. So,
Were they understanding about it?
yeah, they're super cool, man. I'm super thankful for my job. I was actually telling Steve that tonight. We don't have any, like, point system or anything like that. Like, if I said, hey, Harper's sick, I gotta go get her from daycare, they'd be like, all right.
Just like, all right.
And I gotta, reach out to my backup, and, she'll cover my inbox
That's what's
and
up.
shit like that. Yeah, so they're super cool, man. They don't, even all this, even though it was like a medical thing, there's no, like, point system, there's no repercussions or anything like that.
That's
Like,
what's up.
yeah, it's super cool. I'm very thankful for where I work. But so Tuesday, get to the hospital around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Tell them about what's going on, and I did a little bit of research, over the last couple days, and my mom even said too, she's like, it's probably gallstones in your gallbladder. Which I get there and I'm like, I think I have gallstones, but I'm not sure. I even said to the receptionist, she's like, what are you in for? I said, I think I might have gallstones, but I said, I'm not the professional.
Right. I just Googled it.
Right. It all adds up, but not the professional. So that's why I'm here. And they do x-rays. They do actually an ultrasound. So I look and felt like a pregnant woman, and I got the ultrasound, so that was kind of dope.
Nice. Icing on the cake right
Yeah. Definitely cold. I've
All
heard
that gel stuff they use?
I've heard it's cold, and it definitely is.
Now you know.
But the more you know. But yeah, so they eventually said you have I think it was 3 gallstones, and they're gonna have to remove my gallbladder.
Jeez.
And they're like, the fact
Nuts.
that it's like hurting you so bad, we just have to take it out. There's no like just removing the stones or anything like that. The gallbladder's small, man. I think it's only like a couple inches, like like Tom's dick or something, like 2 inches, I think. Shout out Tom, I love you, dude. I had to.
That one threw me off.
Sorry, man. But yeah, so they said, we got to remove it. But then they also noticed that, like, you're kind of wheezing a lot when you're breathing, which I do, man. To be honest with you, I wheeze a lot and I don't breathe that well. And they found out that my oxygen level's at 90%, which at 89% in the hospital, they put you on one of those oxygen tubes.
Okay.
Like a breathing tube. Like, nothing major, but just, up your nose or whatever. So they're like, what's going on with that? My blood pressure is super high, which is, normal for the pain and things like that. So they said, we got to do surgery. We'll do it tomorrow and things like that. The surgery, they said it would be around noon the next day on Wednesday. Ended up getting pushed to 5.
Jeez.
So I'm sitting there. They gave me pain pills and stuff like that, but dude, I'm hooked up to. They put a heart monitor on me. They put one of those clip things on your finger to measure your oxygen.
Yeah.
I'm hooked up to oxygen here. And I got IVs. I got like 3 things.
And everything on you.
Like, dude, it was a problem. And so I was just fucking uncomfortable all day. It got pushed to 5. They said, hey, the doctor actually had to do an emergency surgery. I don't know what happened, but it's something that couldn't wait. So they had to push mine back a little more. I finally got taken to surgery around 7 o'clock. And they said, with you still not breathing well, even after being on oxygen, my blood pressure still being high, even after the blood pressure medicine,
right,
and stuff like that. They're like, we're gonna have to put you on a ventilator during the surgery. Now,
those are not fun.
Right. The good thing, which I know you had a different experience, but for me, they said, we'll put it on you when you're asleep, and we'll take it out before you wake up.
Okay.
So I was
I had
like,
mine put in when I was asleep, thank God, but
right.
I had it taken out when I was awake.
Yeah. No.
Twice.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. That would fucking suck. But did it hurt, by the way, or just felt weird?
It felt weird. The worst though was the feeding tubes.
Okay.
Because I obviously couldn't eat. I was on a vent for like 18 days.
Jeez.
Yeah. So they had the feeding tubes. One was for food and one was for water, I think. So it was up both of them. Dude, when they took those out, because I was fully awake for those 2, I literally felt it come from my stomach all the way up my nose. It was the worst.
No, thank you.
The worst feeling ever.
Yeah, no, thank you. But yeah, so mine was put in and taken out while I was asleep, which was super nice. But I get out of the surgery and they put a CPAP machine on me.
Okay.
Which basically is for sleep apnea and things like that. They just put the huge thing on your face and pump oxygen and pressure basically into your face.
And that goes over your mouth and nose, right?
Yeah, goes over everything. And they had it on so fucking tight, dude. Like, I understand the purpose is to essentially, like, the purpose isn't necessarily to pump oxygen into you. It's to basically, like, force enough pressure into your lungs and stuff that they open. So it's
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the oxygen that I need, but it's the pressure of the amount of oxygen
that you need. Okay.
So it was a very high pressure, like basically it sounded like a fucking jet engine. If I took it off my face, like I couldn't do much because it was super tight. If I did this, it'd be like I fucking opened a plane door and
right.
shit. But like I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why do I need this? Like, it's pissing me off. Like, I'm kind of slightly claustrophobic.
Just give me the tubes back.
Right, like I'm cool with that. Like I get that. And I slept with the tubes the night before. And I'm like, it sucks, but it's whatever.
All right.
They gave me like a 15, 20 foot long tube to where I could go to the bathroom and still have enough, and not worry about it. But whatever. But yeah, so like, this is Wednesday night after the surgery, and I hit the button to call the nurse because I'm like this is way too tight. Like I understand what it's trying to do, but it's way too fucking tight. It physically hurts, and it's harder for me to breathe right now. And so I hit the button, fucking thing right on my whole fucking face, and she's like, hey, what do you need? And I'm like, and then this fucking bitch said, I can't understand you. And I'm like, you fucking think? Like
what do you expect?
Get your ass in here. Like, because it's not like she doesn't know what room is calling her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not a busy ass hospital. There's probably, I would guess, 4 or 5 of us in that, surgery recovery area. Like, there's not many. And she's like, I can't understand you. And I'm like, I basically cussed her out. She didn't know, but it made me feel better. It was like, it was all bad. But she finally comes in, and I'm like, we got to do something about this. Like, it's too much. And she's like, no, we can't. Doctor's orders. And basically, like, walked out.
Like, no explanation.
Yeah, nothing. And I'm like, all right, fuck you. Like, first of all. And then I'm like trying to fall asleep, but this thing fucking hurts, man. So I hit the button again, and again she goes, hey, what do you need? And I'm like,
over the intercom?
yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, like, who are you?
Right.
Like, fuck off. So, like, she walks in and I rip it off my face. There's a way to get it undone, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's actually, like, a thing right here where you can twist and it'll unlatch and you can.
Jeez.
But I don't know this.
Right.
I was basically put on it while I was coming out of, you know, my anesthesia and stuff, so I don't know what the fuck. They never gave me instructions for it. And so I rip it off my face, and she's like, you got to keep that on your face. And I said, can I get like a minute or two break?
Let me get a breather from my breathing machine.
Yeah, give me a second. Like, I'm dying over here. And thankfully, my mom was still there at the time, and she's like, look, like, we got to do something. Like, so they called the respiratory lady or whatever the fuck it was. They adjusted it. Now it's uncomfortable, but it's much better.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I can deal with this. And then I guess my mom's wasn't able to stay the night because all the COVID stuff, I guess.
That's
I don't
good
know.
that she was at least in there with
She
you.
was at least there for that because she was fighting for me. She's like, fucking do something, like, it's hurting.
Right.
Like I understand the importance of this, but it shouldn't physically hurt my face. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so, and they're like, well, it's got to be tight enough to pressurize. I'm like, I get that, but, like, I got lines on my fucking head because of how tight this shit is.
Like, it's sucking my face off.
Right. It really was. So, yada, 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 all that happens. I didn't get much sleep, and really I didn't get much sleep this whole time because they have to take my vitals every hour. They have to take new blood samples every, I would guess, probably 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, something like that. And then my IV would, like, run out, so that would start to beep, and they'd have to switch some stuff, and then they'd have to give me some pain medicine every 4 hours and stuff like that. So, like, I just wasn't sleeping, man.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it was nurses in and out every, like, 45 minutes at least. And, you know, no disrespect to them except the one bitch, but, like, all the nurses and stuff were great.
Yeah.
Except her. But the next day, so this is Thursday, they're like, you're still not breathing, you know, to the appropriate levels without oxygen, but we're going to put you back on the tube. I said, fucking thank you.
Much better.
Right. And so I let them know, you know, last night sucked. And I even told them, I said, you know, you guys have been great, because I had 2 daytime nurses the whole time. And I said, you guys have been great, like, you're explaining shit and things like that. But the lady last night was like, she wasn't mean, but she didn't do her due diligence to, like, tell me what's going on.
Give an explanation.
Yeah,
And stuff.
and I explained what happened, and she's like, oh, well, they had to do that because when you were coming out of surgery, you didn't want to breathe without the ventilator. And I was like, well, that changes shit.
Yeah, like, thank
Like,
you.
yeah, but their shift changes at 7 p.m., so right when I went into surgery, they shift changed, and when I came out, I had the new nurse and things like that, and she didn't tell me, and then the daytime nurse must have saw it in the, you know, in the system or on my file or whatever the fuck, but she's like, she didn't tell you that? I'm like, no.
She just told me to keep it on.
Right, she just, like, yeah, and I got it, but I was like, let me go back to the tube and, like, all this, and so, but shout out to them. It was, God, I think her name was Kara and Seth. They were my daytime nurses. Shout out to them, because they even said, I didn't ask for it, and I even said, I'm like, I do my best to not complain. I try to not, you know, be that guy. I try to make things as easy for everybody as possible. I never complained when they, like, came in every 45 minutes at 3 a.m.
Right.
I'd have been like, man, again, you know, and, like, kind of joked about it.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
right. But I try not to complain, and they're like, you've been great. And they were like, so for you to kind of say this, they're like, we'll make sure she's not your nurse tonight. I was like, oh, all right, cool. And she wasn't, which was dope. The other nurses I had were cool. But they put me back on the tube, and they said, you know, with your oxygen where it is, like, we're not comfortable sending you home tonight. So I had to stay another night in the hospital. Everything's pretty much okay, except my oxygen level, which isn't necessarily, like, affecting me that I can feel,
Mm-hmm.
but, it's a big deal, obviously.
Yeah.
And, obviously it's harder to breathe after anesthesia and stuff like that, too. So they're like, we just don't feel comfortable with it yet. We'll get the anesthesia more out of your system.
Which is good on their part, though, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so it sucked, but I didn't complain. I understood. It makes sense. And, like I said at the beginning, I'm not the professional. So,
and they gave you reasoning on why they're giving you.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how that works out? But yeah, so that was Thursday night. Friday comes. I slept with the oxygen in, and then Friday morning, the doctor came in, or no, the nurse came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna take the oxygen off you to see how you do." And I was doing pretty good. Then I went to take a nap at like noon, and it dropped again. And they're like, "Put this on at least while you nap. Everything's cool." I wake up. They're like, "All right, you don't need it on anymore. Everything's cool. Everything checks out." Now I'm just in a lot of pain. Oxygen's about where it needs to be, but blood pressure's way far down. They had to switch up my blood pressure medication twice to something stronger, to where now it's kind of more, it's not quite where it needs to be, but it's definitely closer. So that's definitely good. And then eventually, doctor came in and discharged me, and eventually I left Friday night around 9 p.m.
I was gonna say it was late.
Yeah.
I think I was just getting off work when you
Right.
said that you were leaving.
So I was there from Tuesday at 3 p.m. to Friday at 9 p.m. Fucking sucked.
That's hell.
Basically no sleep.
Right.
Like very little food, and it's hospital food. Like, and with your gallbladder, what it does is basically it breaks down the more like hard things to break down, like really like fried things and spicy things and stuff like that. It's got bile in it, which is just a stronger, basically stomach chemical, more or less. And so I couldn't eat like anything crazy. Like I had to have like ham sandwiches and like pudding and a lot of fucking water, and like it's whatever, but my options were limited.
Yeah.
The first thing I ordered was sausage, biscuits, and gravy, which was on the diet menu that I could have, and they're like,
nice.
Well, they were like, it's probably pushing it, so probably not. I'm like, fuck, okay,
You tried.
Yeah, I'm like, it's on the menu, and they're like, yeah, but it's kind of like a generic menu, like it's probably not a good idea. It's like, fuck, all right, but yeah,
Let me
so
get some pudding then.
yeah, for real. Their pudding was fucking fire too. The parfaits were great too. But yeah, so that was basically my week. I don't think I'm missing anything.
That was literally a whole week.
Yeah, it was 4 days in the hospital.
Jeez, man.
When I thought I just had to shit, you know what I mean? And it fucking sucked. But shout out to the nurses at Avita in Ontario there. They were great. Except the one bitch, I know her name, I'm not going to say it, but
Keep you anonymous.
right. For your
sake.
Yeah, for your sake.
For your sake.
I got family, bro. But no, I can't say anything bad about the overall experience. For how shitty it was about as good as it could be.
Yeah.
But still a fucking shitty experience. So I
You better now.
right. So I had my gallbladder removed. I don't even know if I fucking said that, but that's what the surgery was. I might have skipped over that part, but yeah, I had my gallbladder removed.
Yeah.
So I have 4 incisions instead of one big one. I think they went through like 2 or 3 different places to cut it
And then take it out.
and then take it out somewhere else. So I got like 4 incisions right here on the right side, but I'm doing all right, man. It's a little bit of pain. I got to move a little slower than I want to, but it is what it is.
Right. On the road to recovery.
Right. I've actually had one of my members of family that I haven't talked to in a couple months, because we kind of had a falling out more or less. They actually called me yesterday and said, "Hey man, I just wanted to check on you and make sure you're okay." And it was cool, man. Like I saw their name pop up on my phone, and like I said, we had some differences, but I know everybody was calling my mom, blowing her up, and things like that. So I was like, I'm gonna answer it. I know what this is about,
Right,
know. So it was a cool conversation. We talked about 5-10 minutes, but Yeah, so that was cool to get to talk to them for a minute. And then actually one of my bosses at work, not my direct one, but one that I am kind of a partner with, more or less. They do the business side, I do the actual ordering side. He called me this morning too, and checked in, was like, how'd everything go, and things like that. Yeah, and it was cool, man. So, and thank you to everybody that was texting me and all the posts and the comments and things like that. It definitely meant a lot to me. Steve actually logged into the podcast Instagram on Tuesday.
The gram.
It might have been Wednesday, but I think it was Tuesday. And actually just let everybody know, hey, just so you guys know, Adam's in the hospital. Shouldn't be anything too serious, but wish him well and stuff. And we got some comments.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you guys all for reaching out and checking in and all that kind of stuff. Definitely means a lot to me.
Got you.
Yep. I didn't realize so many people liked me.
Well, you
Or-
learn something new every day.
Well, I guess they could have been like, hey, I'm going to just act like it because it's good karma and things like that. But I don't know. But yeah, so that was my shitty fucking week.
Yeah, can only go uphill from here.
Yes. Yeah, it's been good since Friday. Like I said, a little bit of pain. Got to move a little slower than normal. Got to be weary of what I'm doing. Like I can't pick up Harper and things like that. But here in the next couple of days, they gave me a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I did kind of fuck up, and I say this like accident. It was an accident because I wasn't really thinking about it. I was giving my boss updates throughout the whole thing. And Friday I sent her a text that, hey, they're finally discharging me. Doctor says I can't work till the 17th, but I'll be cool to work on Monday. Like it's all good.
Right.
And she's like, her hands are tied at that point. She said, if the doctor says you can't work, I can't let you come back. And I was like, fuck, like I shouldn't have said anything, right? So her hands are tied, obviously nothing against her. She, that's the appropriate response as a manager. But I was like, fuck, like,
Dang it, what did I do?
right, I shouldn't have done that. But I was still kind of out of it and like not really thinking clearly too
I
much.
got another week vacation.
Right. Unpaid though, so it
Yeah.
fucking sucks. But yeah, man,
Not in the hospital.
right, it's true. It's true. I'm just bored as fuck in this house. But yeah, so that was my shitty week. Before we forget, since we're so far into the episode, we do have a Patreon sponsor.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna take a hard left turn and shout out to Brubaker Photography.
Brubaker.
They are on Facebook. They did just kind of want to. They said they want to share some positivity and spread some light on the dark time and things like that.
Yes.
Great photography on Facebook. Look out for Brubaker Photography. Not looking at my phone. Brubaker.
Okay.
Brubaker. Baker. So definitely check them out. Give them a like. Give them a share. Give them a follow.
Yep.
Tell them we sent you, all that kind of stuff. You can actually go to the community section of their page and hit invite friends.
Invite everybody.
Yeah, invite everybody. If you invite 100 people, probably 15 or 20 of them will like it, so just invite everybody and they'll be super thankful. So
Get your picture taken and still follow guidelines.
Yep.
Stay 6 feet apart.
it's very true, very true. But yeah, so shout out to them. They're our first small business sponsor. If you guys want to be a small business sponsor, again, you can technically do the $10 tier, and we'll give you a quick shout out like we did at the beginning. But if you want us to actually promote your stuff, both are on the Patreon, and
Sign up.
we'll promote anything, man. We'll promote your butthole. We'll promote whatever you want.
Anything.
I'll do it, dude. I'm not even joking. So, Tommy, actually, little big Tommy, like I mentioned earlier, he said at one point he wanted me to either shit on the Red Sox for 4 weeks or just like praise the Yankees or something like that.
Dang.
And he's like, I would pay $25 to hear you do that 4 times. And I said, I'll fucking do it. I'm not even. The Red Sox are my team. Like that's my go-to. That's my number one team. $25 a month. I'll talk mad shit. So they're not listening. They don't know.
And after the episode, I'll still love them.
Right. And you'll know it's just because I'm getting paid to say so. So I'll sell out in that aspect. But yeah, so let us know on the Patreon, and sign up and you'll get access to that new T-shirt and everything like that. So,
Right.
but yeah, man, I've been fucking talking for way too long.
Well, you had like a life-altering event.
I know. Yeah, it really. I mean, I guess technically it was. Yeah, but again, I tried that to not be a monologue, but I think it kind of turned into one. It is what it is.
It is.
What else you want to talk about? I'm done with that story, man. Like, I'm trying not to talk about that too much anymore. It's just I'm over it.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, that was hell.
Yeah.
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 So he's gonna cough out the other
I'm
gallbladder.
dying.
He's gonna cough out the gallbladder.
No, they already took it out. I fucking hope so. I paid for that.
No, man, but I mean, we can kind of touch base on what you said. You know, driving a little bit like cautious, you being cautious and stuff.
Yeah.
I freaking hate people that don't go the speed limit.
Yeah.
So right now, with you being cautious, I probably hate you if I get behind you.
Well, yeah. So that was the thing too. Like, I'm not. Today I was okay to drive, but yesterday I technically wasn't supposed to drive over the weekend. And yesterday I was just like in my fucking house, and I'm like, I gotta go somewhere.
Do something.
So I'm driving, and I realize like I'm in some pain, and I drive a standard,
Yeah.
but like it's not affecting me. But
Oh, that's over on your right. Yeah, because you're right-handed.
but like it's not really affecting me or anything. But mentally, it must be because I'm going like 30 in a 45. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
It's cruising.
Yeah, and then I get in a 35. I'm doing like 27. Like, what is going on? So like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened mentally, but I'm definitely being cautious.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
at least you're not that type of person that'll go like 40 and a 50.
right,
And then if it switches to like a 45, they start going 55.
right,
It's like, how the hell are you going to go 10 under
right,
and then 10 over?
right.
I don't get it.
I don't understand. Yeah, we're talking about pet peeves now. Man, I think it was one of the TBA episodes. It might have been the first one on the Patreon. This would have been, I mean, the first bonus episode that we put out, I think, or one of the first two. So this was back in February
Okay.
of 2020, obviously. And that's one of my big pet peeves, man. People not going the fucking speed limit.
Yeah, it's there for a reason.
Yeah, and like my whole thing, and this is what I say, and I stand by it, and it's a hill I'll die on. This is your foot, right? And then your gas pedal's right the fuck there, right? So you're going 40 and a 45, right? If you can't do this and adjust your fucking Achilles tendon,
Maybe their foot's asleep.
I have a whole nother fucking thought process if your foot's asleep.
I had to throw that one out there.
Yeah, that's a showstopper. But if you can't adjust your fucking foot by 2 degrees down more to go the speed limit, you shouldn't be driving.
Revoke that license.
Yeah, I don't care how old you are. I'm also a firm believer after you retire, which I think is what 63
For some.
is generally when you
The
retire.
retirement age.
Yeah. Whenever you retire, I'm a firm believer that you have to take a physical driving test every 5 years.
Yeah, redo it.
Yeah, every 5 years. Or I guess maybe 4 years since you got to renew your license every
Yeah.
4. But just a basic one. It doesn't have to be as crazy as when you're 16 or whatever.
Dude, I agree with
Just
that
a cruise around town, hit the highway, make sure you can get up to 70, right? Hit those back roads, make sure you're going at least 40, 45
Right.
on a road that's unmarked. Because just so you guys know, if you don't know, if you're on an unmarked road and it's a back road, the speed limit's 55.
There you go.
But there's no signs usually.
No, there typically isn't.
So there's no wrong answer, right? Or no wrong speed.
Yeah.
But if you're not going 40, 45, we're going to all get upset at you. It's just how it is. I grew up in the country. If you're not going 40, 45 on a back road, probably going to run you off the road.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And nobody's going to find you, Grandma. But
That just got real. That just got real.
I don't want to talk about that day. But
Dude, I can't stand it because I got a lead foot.
yeah,
Like, really bad lead foot. It's gotten me in trouble sometimes. But I hate being behind people.
yeah,
I don't care if you're going the speed limit. I hate it if you're going under the speed limit.
right.
But even if you're going 5 under, I feel like I'm tailgating you. And I just hate people in front of me.
Right. That was weird. I think we have a ghost. Yeah. Maybe the witch from your fucking dreams.
Right.
In the goddamn studio. But yeah, same here, man. Like, in a car, I'm not as bad. I tend to say I'm a grandma driver just because I go fast, but when it comes to turns and stop signs and kind of takeoffs and things like that, especially with a manual, you can launch from a stop sign if you want
got
to.
a turbo in yours too, don't you?
Yes, but I still drive moderately.
Okay.
Usually, just because my dad actually, and it's technically true, but he's like, I was gonna say something, but basically it's technically true. But he always said, and he doesn't mean it literally, but he always said, anytime you're coming up to a stop sign and you have to hit the brakes, that means you use too much gas to get there. So like he's not meaning like creep up and
Yeah.
but he's just saying like if you slam on your brakes, that means you were going way too fast before that.
Whoops.
So to let off the gas before, kind of ease into the stop, ease out of it, and things like that, and it'll save you a little bit of gas, right? It is what it is. But so that's how I drive the car and the bike. But yeah, on a bike, if you're in front of me, I just don't want you in front of me. Like I don't care. Like I don't remember if you said it now or earlier, but if you're in front of me and you're going the speed limit, I'm probably gonna pass you.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna do the speed limit.
I'm gonna get in front of you and then do the speed limit.
You're right. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm not trying to get a ticket, but like I don't want to look at you.
Yes.
I want to look at the back of your head. You can look at the back of my head. It's not very appealing, but that's fine.
But
Right.
But I'm not looking at yours.
Right. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, that's the same thing, man. With me, I literally will just pass him and then do the speed limit.
Right.
Because I hate people in front of me.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. What other pet peeves? There's one I have, which I was talking to a friend of mine, Maddie, it was probably about a month ago, and we were going over our pet peeves. We've been good friends for probably 7, 8 years at least, and I don't think we've ever talked about our pet peeves.
Okay.
So we were just hanging out.
To a lengthy combo.
Yeah, we were just like, trying to see what bugs each other just because we've never asked. And I rattle off a couple things, she rattles off a couple things, and then I realized like, okay, these probably aren't pet peeves. These are just things that I'm going to judge you for. like they don't really piss me off too much, but like if you do this, I'm going to be like, really, man? Like,
what the hell are you doing?
Right. So one of them, and I don't know if I'm alone in this. It fucking seems like it. But if you're in the shower or whatever, and you have the shampoo bottle, the body wash, whatever, and you leave that shit open, I'm going to judge the shit out of you for it. I'm like, but it's nothing. I will never address it until now, I guess. But, like, I will never address it personally.
Right.
I'll never be like, Baker, fucking close the shit. Like, it's never going to happen.
That shit's all open in my house.
Right. I'm never going to address it, but I'm going to see it and be like, who are you, like, to do this? Like, how were you raised? Like,
or like sometimes our shit drops so much,
yeah,
that the cap breaks.
Oh yeah,
so they're just unscrewed.
Wow.
So that would really grind your
yeah,
gear there, man.
yeah. No, I'm just like,
steer away from our upstairs bathroom.
Are you a fucking heathen? Like, who are you, dude? Like, and it's nothing. It is nothing to complain about, and I will never complain about. But just know, if I'm ever in your bathroom and I glance over, there's shit that's open.
Don't be judging my kids. They're the ones that do it mostly.
Your kids are a different story. If we're a grown-ass adult, close your shit. You know why? Because I don't want fucking water in my body wash. I'm trying to scrub and dub, dude. Like, I'm trying to get clean.
I feel you.
Like,
I feel you.
It's a dumb one. It's a dumb one. I know it's a dumb one. I'm probably alone in that. There's nobody else on the planet that ever fucking thinks of that. But I overanalyze everything, and I like to judge people. And that's one thing I would. What are you trying to say, dude?
I'm just saying, you keeps it real.
I do keep it real.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But a lot of times, like, I'll keep it real to myself, and then I won't say something. A lot of times I say something. But, like,
I was going to say majority.
Well,
90%.
But when it's something small like that, like, I just kind of mark it off in my head, like, okay, well, this guy's clearly a heathen. Like, it's cool. We're still homies, but like, I'm I'm gonna watch him. You know, I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna watch him around my shit. What else? You got any other pet peeves?
Dude, I hate it. This one happens at work at least once a week. When somebody asks you a question and does not let you answer it fully.
Yeah.
Like either they interrupt you or walk away.
Okay.
It irritates the shit out of me. Like, don't come at me
Right.
asking for an answer and don't get my full answer.
Right. Listen to the first thing or whatever.
And then think that's what you need to hear. Like,
Right.
no, there's more to it.
I usually tell people something along the lines of like, okay, I have a simple answer, but you got to listen to the whole thing. Like, especially when we worked in tech support.
Yes.
At AT&T, like, okay, this is what you have to do. And then they would start to walk away. I said, hold up, don't walk away.
Right.
Because that might not work, and I don't need you back at my desk in 5 minutes. Like, do this. This is why. If that doesn't work, this is your next step. This is your next step. This is your next step.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to be like, okay, hey, do a reset, and then dip off, and then 5 minutes, hey, that didn't work.
Right.
Okay, well then do this, and then fucking dip off. Hey, that didn't work. Like, can you hang out for an extra 2 minutes?
Let me tell you.
You're right. Yeah, I definitely get that.
It's irritating.
One of my things is the opposite of that.
Okay.
It's not a pet peeve, but it definitely reminded me of it. When so you get upset when people come ask you a question, you don't get to answer it fully, and then they dip out, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Right.
why are you coming at me? So my thing is kind of the opposite, and it's fun for me, is when somebody says something along the lines of like, oh, I had a crazy night last night, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's cool. And then I just walk away. Because I know you're fishing for me to ask you about your crazy night.
I got you.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't care.
I'm going to mess with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, the wife's being such a bitch. That sucks, man. And just dip out. Like, I know, yeah, like, it's part of life, right? And then just dip. That's my favorite thing. Because I know they're trying to complain, which is, do what you got to do. I understand that. You got to vent a little bit and things like that, like, more power to you. But you're not going to trick me into letting you vent to me.
Don't give me a little cliffhanger.
Right. If you're going to start a story, you start a fucking story, then I'm trapped.
Yeah.
If you're going to basically,
Then I'm trapped.
if you're baiting me into a fucking story that I don't want to hear,
I ain't biting it.
I ain't that fucking fish, dude. I'm the big one in the ocean. You ain't catching me. You better bring a juicy steak or something.
I don't know about the juicy steak, man.
Wow. I'll still probably fucking bite. I'll bite. I'm getting grilled up afterwards anyway. So, but yeah, so that's definitely something I love
That's
to
a
do.
good one, though.
It's just like, yeah, when, like, especially if somebody does it to me, I think it's fucking hilarious too. Because I do it, I'm like, man, like,
Have people done it to you?
yeah. But, like, I think it's funny, though. Because I did it to myself.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
like, even this week, or last week, I'm like, yeah, man, last week sucked. And someone was like, man, yep. And then just, like, dipped out. I'm like, I feel you, dude. Like, I get you. I set you up.
Like, damn.
You didn't want to listen. I get it. I'm not going to force my story on you, right? But, yeah, it's something I
It's
love to
almost
do.
like treading the water.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Let me see what they're gonna do.
Right. Nope.
not today, buddy.
Nope. And then, like,
That's awesome.
maybe later I'll come by and be like, all right, tell me about your week, or whatever. But it's just so fun to see their reaction because they're so fucking amped up
Right.
with this fucking story about their home life.
And you can tell, dude.
Yeah, and they're like, man, I want to get this off my chest. And they're like, this fucking bitch. And I'm like, get her. And they like walk away. And like, yeah, like, and they're like, and then they gotta like turn to somebody else like, this bitch. And they're like, oh, really?
Like, I got somebody.
Right, all right, reel him in. You ain't gonna get me, son.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, it's just fun. It depends on who you are too, but
Yeah.
it's just, especially if I don't know you that well. My whole thing, which I don't know if we've talked about it. I know I've talked about it on the podcast, but my whole thing is comedy first.
Yeah.
So for me, if it entertains me, I'm doing
That's
it.
all that matters.
Yeah, that's all. I don't care about your feelings. It's funny to me, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna laugh my way away from it.
All right.
Maybe out loud too.
More than likely.
More than likely. But yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
I know we did want to talk about tattoos a little bit. Did you want to get into that now, or did you want to save that for next week, maybe?
I say that
But yeah, so I guess next week we're going to talk about tattoos, our favorite ones,
Yeah.
maybe some meanings we have.
Maybe some up and coming.
Yep, up and coming ones. So yeah, for you guys especially, let us know some tattoos you have on the community boards. Pictures or not pictures. Give us meanings. If they're shitty ones, tell us the story about it, like whatever. We'll try to talk about it on the episode too.
Yep.
But
and I do have to get a picture of my leprechaun for the Patreon.
yes, you do. You were
Forgot.
supposed to flash them
I was supposed to flash
on the bonus episode. Maybe we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get a picture. They want to see ass.
Yeah, I haven't forgot about y'all.
So,
next bonus episode.
Yeah, we
I
fucked
got
up
you.
this week and forgot. But if you want to see Baker's ass, patreon.com.
Yes.
/AverAF
Sign
podcast. But yeah, if you're a Patreon member, hit the link below for the new logo shirt. Super dope. At least check it out. Let us know what you
I'm
think.
excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm super stoked. But yeah, other than that, everything's at Average AF Podcast on the socials, averageafpodcast.com. We actually, real quick too, we do have a one-time only PayPal link. So if you, a lot of people say, well, I want to support you guys, but I'm not trying to do it monthly or anything like that, which I totally get. But if you guys want to do just a one-time donation, you can. That's, again, averageafpodcast.com under the support the show. You can find the Patreon links, the PayPal link, the merch, all that kind of stuff. So
Linked up.
yeah. So, but yeah, thank you guys for checking out episode 55, and have a good night.
Till next week. Peace.